The Orioles' brand new ownership is not messing around. They are trying to form the next Avengers. They just traded for Corbin Burnes, and then moments later, the Yankees, they lost out on one of their better relievers from last year. And also, later in the recap, we're going to review some of the best remaining free agents because there's still quite a few of them. We talk baseball every single day, so don't be afraid to stick around. Hit that subscribe button. And also, yesterday, we talked about the best 30 players under 30 years old. Corbin Burnes, he was in that video, so after this one, check it out. Look at this old picture of Shintaro Fujinami and Kodai Senga at spring training in Arizona a few years ago, and fast forward to 2024, they're now teammates. Shintaro Fujinami is joining the New York Mets for the 2024 campaign, and if you're looking at his baseball reference, you might have just had a jump scare because you're probably thinking, Fuzzy, a negative 2.1 WAR, a near 7.5 ERA. Why are you talking about this guy? He's buns. Now, the thing you have to remember about Shintaro Fujinami is he started his career with the A's, and he was one of the worst starting pitchers in baseball, and they didn't really cut him any slack because if he was struggling, they said, hey, you got to be out there, you got to eat innings. We don't care if you're giving up home run after home run. Just please save our bullpen and throw 5 or 6 innings. We don't care if you give up 12 runs in the process. The Baltimore Orioles swooped in and they traded for Shintaro Fujinami, and as a reliever, he went from allowing a 340 batting average as a starter to a 209 batting average as a reliever, so he got much better. Now, when I say much better, he went from a 14 ERA as a starter to a 5 ERA as a reliever, so he's still prone to giving up runs, and that's because he has a severe walk issue, but the dude throws 103. Sometimes that's all that teams care about because they're under the mindset that they can fix anyone, and they think that they can fix Shintaro Fujinami and this next guy. Jake Diekman was awful for the Chicago White Sox to begin 2023. He had an 8 ERA in 13 appearances with the White Sox. He got flipped, or I don't know if he was flipped or released. Either way, he ended up on the Tampa Bay Rays, and just like Shintaro Fujinami, he got much better after being traded. He went from a near 8 ERA to a 2.18 ERA. Of course he did, because the Tampa Bay Rays, just like the Dodgers, they have found some voodoo magic that they can just fix anyone that they want. I'm not saying that Shintaro Fujinami and Jake Diekman are going to be all-stars in 2024, but when you can add them to the same bullpen as Edwin Diaz, Sugar's coming back. That bullpen's going to be extremely nasty in terms of the strikeout stuff, but the walks, yeah, they're going to be an issue if we're talking about Fujinami and Diekman. Now, real quick, before we break down the Corbin Burnes trade, I want to talk about Keynan Middleton because he was a big part of the Yankees bullpen towards the end of 2023. In 12 appearances after being traded from the White Sox to the Yankees, he turned in a very impressive 1.8 ERA and a 10.7 strikeouts per 9. But just like any nasty reliever who is usually a strikeout guy, Diekman, Fujinami, we've already talked about those two guys. He does have a slight walk issue. He had a 4.5 walks per 9 last year, but hey, he's a strikeout artist, and when he was with the Yankees, Matt Blake figured out how to get Keynan to not allow home runs, and he didn't do that. Now, granted, it was in 14 innings with the Yankees, but I think that Matt Blake is a very good pitching coach. Maybe he got in Keynan's ear and he fixed something, and now the St. Louis Cardinals, yeah, they're going to benefit from that. I think I forgot to mention that, yeah, he's going to the Cardinals. Just the day after Jon Angelos, the former owner of the Orioles, sold the team, they went out and traded for Corbin Burnes, and it just goes to show you a cheap owner will never allow a good GM to flourish if the owner's cheap. Looking at you, Oakland, looking at you, Cleveland. So the full trade is Corbin Burnes is going to the Orioles, and in return, the Brewers are getting an infielder by the name of Joey Ortiz. They're getting a lefty pitcher, whether he's a starter or a reliever. That is up to the Brewers to decide. DL Hall, he's been a top 100 prospect for a while, and they're also getting a compensation pick. So that's the full-blown trade. Let's break it down. Also, we're going to talk about Willy Adames in a second because I think that he could be traded next, but we'll get there. Since the beginning of 2020, Corbin Burnes has started in 102 games. That's 622 innings. He is combined for a 2.8 ERA and a 2.8 FIP. Those are elite numbers, my friends. He won a Cy Young back in 2021. He's made 3 consecutive All-Star teams. Now, the thing about Corbin, I kind of wrote him off after I saw his 3.4 ERA in 2023, but the thing I did not realize is that he got better as the season progressed. He had a 2.7 ERA in the second half of last season, so the Orioles, they're trying to capitalize on that. So Corbin Burnes will be joining a rotation with guys like Kyle Bradish, Grayson Rodriguez, John Means. Hopefully he can have a bounce back season, and then Dean Kremer. This is a pretty good rotation despite the fact that these are not household names just yet. Look at this tweet that I put out on my Twitter. Make sure you guys follow me. Grayson Rodriguez and Kyle Bradish, they were both monsters to end the season last year, and then Corbin Burnes, like I mentioned, as the year progressed, he got better and better. Imagine if the Orioles, with the new ownership on their side, press that full send button, and maybe they go out and get a Blake Snell or a Jordan Montgomery. I feel like Jordan Montgomery would be a perfect fit in Baltimore because Obviously, Blake Snell, he's going to command more dollars, but Jordan Montgomery, he's very clutch. He would be a perfect fit. All right, so let's talk about who the Brewers are getting in return. They are getting a 25-year-old infielder, Joey Ortiz, and in 33 at-bats last year in his rookie debut season, a little cup of coffee season, he did not look good at all, but hey, it was 33 at-bats. You can't judge the guy off that. If we take a look at his AAA stats from last year, he had 30 doubles, 9 home runs, and he hit .321 on the season with an .885 OPS. But I do have to remind you guys, he didn't just rake in AAA last year, he raked in 2022 as well. In 26 games after being called up, he hit .346 with the .970 OPS, so he absolutely owns AAA. In 114 AAA games, he's hitting .327 with 37 doubles and 13 home runs to go along with 17 stolen bases. Joey Ortiz, he does rake. We just have to see if it translates. And that's why I bring up Willy Adames, but again, we're almost there. Along with Joey Ortiz, DL Hall is also going to the Brewers, and as you can see, this dude has been a top 100 prospect for the last 5 years. We saw DL Hall make his debut in 2022, and we're not really going to talk about it because he wasn't very good, but he was still nasty. He had 19 strikeouts in 13 innings. Fast forward to 2023, the Baltimore Orioles mainly used DL Hall as a reliever, and he got so much better. He turned in a 3.2 ERA and a 10.7 strikeouts per nine. He had a 2.3 walks per nine in 19 innings. I know that is a small sample size, but if DL Hall can get that command under control and really use that fastball slider combination, he can be disgusting. And I think the Brewers are so good at developing pitchers that they could bring him back to being a starter. So just a quick recap of the trade. Corbin Burnes, who's a free agent after this season, it could very well be a rental because I don't know if the Orioles are going to give him what he deserves. But again, the trade is Corbin Burnes for infielder Joey Ortiz and DL Hall. Now, one other guy who's a free agent after 2024, Willy Adames. So now that the Brewers have picked up Joey Ortiz, an offensive first shortstop that can get it defensively, that kind of describes Willy Adames, although defensively, Willy Adames, he is one of the best in baseball. Do not discount his defense. It is platinum level. Again, Willy Adames is a free agent after this season, and he's kind of regressed over the last few years. He went from a 110 OPS plus to a 95 OPS plus, and that's simply because the strikeouts were still there. He did have 24 home runs, and again, he's a platinum level defender, so he's still very valuable. To me, I feel like Willy Adames would be a perfect fit for the Blue Jays. They're probably going to lose Matt Chapman, Willie at third base, or maybe you put Bo Bichette at third base. I don't know how that's going to work, but to me, Willy Adames for Alek Manoah, what if that happens? It's probably not going to happen, but I'm just throwing that out there. So because we just brought up Matt Chapman, let's talk about the other remaining free agents that have not signed yet. We've talked about Jordan Montgomery in today's video. Cody Bellinger is still out there. Blake Snell we brought up today. Clayton Kershaw, he's probably not going to be healthy until the All-Star break, if that. And then we have guys like Brandon Belt, JD Martinez rakes, Jorge Soler. So a lot of difference makers in some lineups, potential aces in Montgomery and Snell. I don't know what you guys make of Mike Clevenger. He had a pretty decent season last year for the White Sox, but there are still some big names in the free agent pool, and Scott Boras is holding everyone up. Please, can we get these guys to sign? It's already February. Spring training starts in like 2.5 weeks. Let's get it going. I need Cody Bellinger on a team so I can make some predictions. So that's going to do it for today's recap. But just a reminder, I posted a banger yesterday. We ranked the top 30 players under 30 years old. I'll leave it right next to my face. Make sure you guys click on it. And if you came from this video, just comment spaghetti, and I'll see you there.